mission of the regular city commission, April 9th, 2024. Clerk, would you call the roll?
Sure. Mr. Markert?
Present.
Mr. Long?
Here.
Ms. Cassell?
Here.
Ms. Burns?
Here.
Mayor Carney?
Here. Stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You all have in front of you the agenda. Are there any proposed changes to the agenda? I have one item that I wish to pull off of consent, which is, if I can find it, we discussed it earlier, so it's related to the
6H1.
6H1. Yep, thank you so much. And because I would like the city, the utilities director to discuss why we're doing this contract, because people have asked me, about this, and it could be you or whomever.
Yeah, I will be happy to lead off, and then, of course, I'll have Mr. Harjamiri to
That's
join
fine.
us as well.
However you want to handle it, it's fine.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Are there any other changes? Can I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Or do we roll call this one?
Yes.
So far, okay.
Mr. Long?
Yes.
Ms. Cassell?
Yes.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Mayor Carney?
Yes.
Mr. Markert?
Yes.
Okay, we have some presentations. Well, first is a resolution. Hold on a second. I apologize as I get used to where they put everything. And the first resolution is for Sean Bekowitz for 30 years of service to the city of Delray Beach.
Yes.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Delray Beach, Florida, recognizing and commending Sean Bekowitz for 30 years of service to the city of Delray Beach. Whereas Sean Bekowitz began his career with the city of Delray Beach on February 28, 1994, and on February 28, 2024, achieved 30 years of full-time service with the city of Delray Beach. And whereas Sean was hired as a firefighter paramedic in 1994, was promoted to driver engineer in 1999, and then to fire captain in 2001, where he currently serves with honor and distinction. And whereas Sean has demonstrated his dedication to the fire profession by completing and maintaining his hazardous material technician, fire inspector, rope rescue technician, and technical rescue certifications, and whereas Sean has invested his time and talents in the future of the fire service by serving as an Explorer post-shift sponsor, where he mentored young people who are interested in pursuing a career as a first responder. And whereas Sean is appreciated and respected for his ability and willingness to provide outstanding leadership to his team, he has mentored his direct reports and assisted them in preparing for their promotional exams. He excels in planning and executing effective and highly detailed training programs and incident command scenarios. And whereas Sean is known for exhibiting a work ethic that is strong and contagious, he prioritizes the needs of the citizens and uses excellent judgment in all emergency situations in order to accomplish the mission and keep his team safe. And whereas the city of Delray Beach and the Delray Beach Fire Rescue Department are honored to have Captain Sean Bekowitz as a valued member of the department, now therefore be it resolved by the City Commission of the City of Delray Beach, Florida, as follows. One, that the City Commission of Delray Beach hereby recognizes and commends Sean Bekowitz for 30 years of dedicated and faithful public service. Two, that the City Commission hereby congratulates and expresses sincere thanks and appreciation to Sean Bekowitz for his many years of faithful service and wishes him the best of health and happiness in his continued employment. And do we make a motion to adopt the resolution? We need a motion to adopt the resolution?
Motion to adopt.
Second.
City Manager?
Okay, so I would like to give representative from the Department of Human Resources an opportunity to offer the presentation of the award upon adoption of the resolution.
That is
we're
fine.
connecting with your style in that regard, and therefore I'd like to offer that consideration as well.
Perfect.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so
Thank you.
Yes. I'll call the roll. Hold on. Ms. Cassell? Yes. Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Mayor Carney?
Yes.
Mr. Markert?
Yes.
Mr. Long?
Yes.
So
Please.
Lachey King, Human Resources Employee Engagement Administrator. Mr. Mayor, on your behalf and the rest of the commission, I'm going to present Mr. Bekowitz with this beautiful plaque. I'm sorry. framed resolution that you read.
Thank you.
And Battalion Chief Matthew Mahoney will speak on his behalf.
Good evening, everybody.
Thank you, Chief.
I didn't realize we were going to go through his accolades already, but I'll kind of keep this short for everybody here. It is a privilege to pay tribute to Captain Bekowitz for his 30 years of service at the city of Delray Beach and his remarkable 41 years in the fire and emergency services. He started his career, his father from Ohio was a fire chief, volunteer fire chief, and that was what paved his way to the fire service. The flame of service was kindled in a small town of Ohio where he served, and his values of service were ingrained in him back then. On a farm of town of just 300, he learned the meaning of dedication and the importance of contributing to one's community. His journey in the fire service began at the tender age of 17, volunteering in the Ohio Fire Service, setting the stage for what will become a lifelong passion and professional calling. His quest for excellence led him to the Ohio Fire Academy, where he served as a firefighter, venturing to Florida, a move inspired by a desire to further his career in public service. Here in Florida, Captain Bekowitz found his calling and his life partner, Andrea, while working for the village of Palm Springs. Their partnership blossomed into a family, graced by 2 daughters, Amanda, Haley, and now his new best bud, grandson, Jackson. Professionally, Captain Bekowitz's resume reads like a testament to a career dedicated to the highest ideals of public service. He has served in virtually every capacity imaginable, from a volunteer firefighter, private ambulance paramedic, to a police officer. His academic achievements and his professional ones mirror each other, graduating number 1 in both police and fire classes. His expertise in hazardous materials technician and rope rescue more underline the career built on continuous learning and specialization. Captain Bekowitz embodies the very essence of selflessness and brotherhood. Even now, 12 years after the tragic loss of fellow firefighter Eric Patry, he remains deeply connected with his family. Recently, he has gathered the department's most skilled amateur plumbers to help with a bathroom leak, epitomizing the essence of genuine care and support that extends well beyond the call of duty. As we celebrate his 30 years at Delray Beach Fire Rescue and 41 of total service, we are reminded of the impact that one individual can have on the lives of many. It is a testament to a career dedicated to not seeking glory, but to making a difference one day, one call, one life at a time. To Captain Bekowitz, thank you and congratulations on this remarkable achievement.
Thank you, Captain Bekowitz, for your service. Okay, moving along, we have another resolution. This is for Tommy Osborne. A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Delray Beach, Florida, recognizing and commending Tommy Osborne for 30 years of service to the City of Delray Beach. Whereas Tommy Osborne began his career with the City of Delray Beach on January 10th, 1994, and on January 10th, 2024, achieved 30 years of full-time service with the City of Delray Beach. He was hired as a firefighter and promoted to firefighter EMT, where he currently serves with honor and distinction. He has a Bachelor of Science degree in Business Administration and has earned his Fire Inspector certification. And whereas he is recognized for setting standards of excellence for customer service delivery and for his extraordinary work ethic, he can be counted on to do the right thing and do it well. And whereas Tommy has made an important impact on the health and fitness of his fellow firefighters by leading in the department's peer fitness program and has developed upcoming firefighters at Palm Beach State College Fire Academy by providing physical fitness training there. And whereas Tommy is known around the globe as an ambassador for firefighter fitness, he is a world-class competitor in the Firefighter Combat Challenge and in track and field at the Police and Fire World Games, an Olympic-sized event that draws more than 10,000 athletes from 70 countries. He is recognized internationally as one of the fittest firefighters in all manners of fitness competitions. And whereas Tommy has inspired many by earning multiple medals in the men's Masters Division of CrossFit, which involved multiple grueling workouts that test strength, endurance, coordination, and overall fitness, and whereas the City of Delray Beach and the Delray Beach Fire Rescue Department are honored to have Tommy as a valued member of the department. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Commission of the City of Delray Beach as follows. 1, that the City Commission of Delray Beach hereby recognizes and commends Tommy Osborne for 30 years of dedicated and faithful service. And 2, that the City Commission hereby congratulates and expresses sincere thanks and appreciation to Tommy Osborne for his many years of faithful services and wishes him the best of health and happiness in his continued employment. May I have a motion to approve the resolution?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Excuse me. Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Mayor Carney?
Yes.
Mr. Markert?
Yes.
Mr. Long?
Yes.
Ms. Cassell?
Yes.
I am really impressed. I mean, I'm exhausted just hearing about everything you did. Well done.
So again, Lachey King, Human Resources Employee Engagement Administrator. On behalf of yourself, Mayor, and the Commission, we are going to present Tommy a beautiful plaque and the resolution that you read framed.
Nice. Thank you. Again, I just want to say a couple words on Tommy's behalf. Today, we're celebrating an honor in our midst. Firefighter Tommy Osborne. As it marks 30 years of dedicated service to Delray Beach Fire Rescue, we also celebrate his exceptional achievements that extend far beyond our local community. Firefighter Osborne's journey began in 1994, and through those years, he has exemplified what it means to become a firefighter. But Tommy didn't stop there. His passion and dedication took him to the global stage, competing in the World and Police Fire Games, an event that showcases the athletic prowess of emergency responders worldwide. His love for competition and travel has seen him participate in numerous police and fire games since 1996, rarely ever missing an event. His dedication to these games speaks volumes about his commitment to fitness, camaraderie, and the spirit of emergency services community. Most recently, Firefighter Osborne, now 59 years old, continued to surpass the expectations and demonstrating that age is merely a number, as he clinched an impressive array of medals at the prestigious 2023 World Police and Fire Games in Canada. His mastery of CrossFit and track and field earned him multiple gold medals, showcasing a level of performance that was nothing short of stellar. Remarkably, Tommy reached the finals in every event he participated in, except pickleball, a sport that that I'm sure when he retires will become a professional at. But perhaps what speaks most about Firefighter's character is the continued dedication to our citizens. Just last month, a month out from retirement, he has received the esteemed Call of the Quarter award from Delray Medical Center in recognition of his heroic efforts in saving a citizen's life during last Christmas season. Tommy's commitment to the well-being of our city speaks volumes about his character and a testament to his selflessness and bravery. Ladies and gentlemen, Firefighter Osborne represents the best of us. His dedication to our profession, this community, and the personal achievements set a standard we all admire. Today, as we celebrate his 30 years of his service, let us also recognize the immense impact he has made, not just in Delray Beach, but worldwide. Congratulations to my friend, Firefighter Tommy Osborne.
Yep. Next, we have a legislative update by Senator Laurie Berman, who I said hello to earlier, so I know you're here. And I don't know, is Representative Casello
No,
here?
he
will not
sent
be
his
here?
regrets.
You have the floor.
Thank you so much, Mayor, Vice Mayor, City Manager, Council members, and congratulations to the new members up on the dais. And welcome to everyone here in the city. So every year I am your state senator, and every year I come and give you a little bit of a report about what happened in Tallahassee. We have one requirement, and that is to have a balanced budget in the state, and I'm happy to report that we do have a balanced budget, and we had a very robust budget again this year. We had a $117 billion budget last year, and we have a $117 billion budget again this year. Happy to report that Delray is included in several projects in that budget. We have a Southwest 8th Avenue roadway restoration for $500,000 and a North Swinton roadway and underground utility improvements Phase 2 for $750,000. This is all subject to the governor's veto, as some of you may recall. We did have some vetoes last year. Hopefully we will not. I would say it's incumbent upon all of you to work with the governor's office and make sure they understand how important these projects are for the city of Delray. We had a much calmer, quieter session this year, a lot less of the divisive issues, which was really good for everyone. We did not do enough, in my opinion, about property insurance, which is probably the number one issue on everybody's mind. The leadership felt like the things we have done in the past will start to pay off, and they didn't want to make any big significant moves, which I'm sorry about, because I still think that we need to be proactive. And we have, what I think that they're believing is that we're going to see things start to level out, but I don't think they're going to see things go down. The idea is that instead of you're getting a bill with 40% increase, you'll get a bill that's level. So it's not a great situation, but we did put more money in the My Safe Florida Home program, which is a great program. We've been doing it now this is the third year that we're doing it. We put $200 million in it, and it allows homeowners to fortify their homes. It pays for a hurricane inspection, and then if you need new doors, new windows, new roofs, you can get up to a $10,000 grant. One thing, it's going to open on July 1st. We did change the program, and probably rightfully so, to make it so that low-income people and people over 60 are going to get priority in the program. So the money might run out fairly quickly, but it's good that everybody should know that it's going to be available. And it's only up to $10,000, and you have to do a 2-for-1 grant, $2 for every dollar you get, except for people who are in the low-income category. They're not required to do the match. We also put in place a pilot program to have that same program for condominiums. And that will also open, assuming the governor signs it, that will open July 1st also. It's $30 million, and it's up to $175,000 per condo association, so that money's going to go real fast. So if you have any condo associations that want it, call my office. We're taking lists, and we're trying to get everybody all set up. The one thing I like to speak to you all about is preemption. So what preemption is, it's when the state says we control this area and we will not allow the cities and counties to have input. Last year we passed a bill, and they called it the mother of all preemptions, and they said it's going to stop further preemptions, and it had requirements of what you have to do when you pass laws. It did not stop it. I'm sorry to say there were very, very many preemption bills that were passed this year. Every single time a bill came up, we said, we thought you were done with it last year, and they said, well, whatever. There was no real answer about it. The biggest one that probably affects you is vacation rentals. We pretty much preempted everything to the state, including how many people can be in a room. There's very specific requirements, 2 people in a room if it's 50 feet. But the one thing that we did leave to the cities is you can register. You can require the person who has a vacation rental home to register. You can charge them for that registration, and you can charge an inspection fee. So those are the things that you will be able as a city to control. Other than that, the rest of it is going to be preempted to the state. I know anybody who had a regulation before 2011 is grandfathered. I don't think the city of Delray, did you have a regulation?
I don't believe so.
I don't think you're grandfathered, so that will be going forward. We also, so that was Bill 280. We also passed HB 705, which says that if you have a public works project, you cannot give any local bidding preferences to your local area. Yeah, I will tell you, I am a big believer in home rule. I voted against all these bills, but I'm just the messenger giving you the report about what we did. And there was something having to do with unsafe structures. It's Bill 1526. It was a bill from last year. It was very controversial last year. It didn't pass. This year it did pass. And it basically allows people to, it allows condemnation of a building that was a historical structure, and it doesn't require that the new building be a historical structure. So that's a little concerning for this town. And the other bill that there were a couple others, but the other significant one is that you cannot pass any bills requiring any shade breaks or any water breaks for outdoor workers. And as part of that, there's something having to do with living wages also. I'm sure the League of Cities is going to send you guys more thorough information, but just wanted to get those things out there so that you're aware that those were the big preemptions this year. And it was a big year, unfortunately, for preemption. I do like to end a little bit on something that we did that was kind of fun, which is nice because we don't see a lot of fun in Tallahassee. But we honored our state troubadour, and we renamed A1A from all the way from Jacksonville to the Florida Keys, and it is now Jimmy Buffett Highway. So that was fun, yeah. And we got to hear the songs and everything, so that was wonderful. So that's pretty much my report. I'm happy to answer any questions. I'm here with my legislative aide, Sophia Cabej. My office is at Children's Service Council building right at Gateway and I-95, and happy we passed this out. It has the information about my office if anyone wants one. Sophia has a few more, and happy to help and very proud to represent Delray.
Thank you very much, Senator. Are there any questions from any members on the commission?
I have a quick one, if no one else does. Well, first of all, thank you so much, Senator Berman. You've always been a fierce advocate for Delray Beach and municipalities in general. And I also just want to publicly thank Representative Casello and Representative Gossett-Simon, who also filed bills and advocated for our city. But I wanted to ask, the Live Local Act, was there like a glitch bill that was filed that amended that bill substantially?
Yeah. Thank you so much, Commissioner Long. There was a glitch bill filed. It started out with a lot more changes to it, and they pulled them back. Like one of the changes was it wouldn't apply to industrial areas. They pulled that back. So now it still lives local in industrial areas. They can do whatever zoning kind of they want. They did change, if you read my book, we don't have pages. Oh yeah, we do. Page 9. Oh no, page 10. Page 10 has a lot of the specific changes that were made. We put more money into it. We did change some of the density and height, especially based on what's next door to the property. Okay. So that should be a good positive. Okay. Because when we did do Live Local last year, there was a lot of concern about density and height. So, and they did reduce some parking requirements if you're in a near a major transportation area and things like that. So we did do some changes, but they pulled back on a lot of the changes at the very end.
Thank you so much for that update.
Sure.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other comments, questions for Senator? Senator, as always, thank you so much for the care that you give Delray Beach and your service to us and to the state, and we really appreciate it.
Thank you, and congratulations, and looking forward to working with the commission going forward.
We too.
Thank you.
Only because I'm a little rusty. I forgot when we changed the agenda item, we pulled the item not to give it an agenda number for discussion.
It is added to the regular meeting of the agenda, so
Yes.
it'd actually be 7. Section 7, so this would be probably 7A11 or something like that, 7AA. 7AA.
Just for my notes, thank
Yes,
you very
sir.
much. I'll get the hang of it the next time. I'll
Yes,
remember.
sir. So
Anyway,
6H1 now becomes 7AA.
Gotcha. All right, thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
We now have comments and inquiries on agenda and non-agenda items from the public immediately following, so here we go. First, we have the city manager's response to prior public comments and inquiries.
Mr. Mayor, ladies and gentlemen, I have one item actually listed, and it's in collaboration with the Department of Public Works. Of course, as I've had an opportunity to visit with several of you all individually, fairly recent, and then some of you even prior, a big focus has to do with Swinton Avenue and Atlantic Avenue, the implementation of that particular project. And of course, ancillary to that is the North Swinton improvement piece as well. So we thought it was appropriate today to offer a succinct yet fairly comprehensive update in terms of the infrastructure program to be executed to get us to a better place. Likewise, we anticipate the first step of transactions being recommended for next week's City Commission as well, April 16th. Likewise, I've asked Director of Public Works, Missy Barletto, to be here to offer said presentation bring you all up to speed, as well as to provide an opportunity for you all to address any specific questions or concerns you might have in advance of next week's consideration for approval.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ms. Barletta.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. Tonight I'm bringing you an overview of the Urban Core Mobility Concept Design Project that was a joint project between the Development Services Department and the Public Works Department to address the issues at the Swinton and Atlantic intersection. I'm going to get it out in just a minute. Okay, so the project goals of this was the conceptual design to begin looking at the mobility issues in that major intersection, to improve bicycle and pedestrian safety, to reduce traffic congestion on Atlantic Avenue, and to evaluate the feasibility of a mid-block pedestrian crossing along Swinton Avenue North, right across from basically sort of between where the CRA building is and the Crest Theater, because people are going to cross there. So we decided we should do something to make that safer for them. So to give you an overview to remind you of the problems that we have in this intersection, here is an array of people behaving badly in the intersection. You can see cars piling up at the intersection, not on their green light. Pedestrians almost getting run over. The engineering firm that did this particular study actually was there when these people almost got smashed between those two cars. You can see her trying to run across the paver crosswalk in her stiletto heels. Not a good thing. But the one thing that I want to bring to your special attention this evening is that this crash data that is on this slide is from 2016 to 2018 when this concept study was done, right? At that time, we had 179 total crashes in the project area. 10 of those were bicycle or pedestrian related. That crash data never includes a near miss. So there are at least 3 near misses in the pictures that are shown up there, and that was just on a few nights of observing issues in that area. We have a problem there with unsafe pedestrian crossings, and we all know people get frustrated waiting in line for their turn to get downtown, and they fail to yield. So this data is old. We're getting ready. We're in the cone of silence. City Manager Moore alluded to that we're getting ready to have some new items coming before you. At next week's commission meeting, you'll have an opportunity to approve a contract with a new firm that will do the actual design. So this is a conceptual design of what we could do in this intersection. A new firm will be coming on board to do the actual engineering design, prepare for construction, and there will be updates to all of the traffic data and crash data. So when we initially brought this forward, it was during COVID time. So we were limited as to what we could do with public outreach. We did a lot of internal outreach amongst all of the departments in the city. And these are the initial design alternatives that were considered for people's input. So the alternative 1 was tabled intersections at 2nd Street and at Swinton Avenue with a roundabout at 1st Street. Alternative 2 had a mini roundabout at Swinton. Alternative 3 had a tabled intersection and remained with on-street parking in the area. Alternative 4, 2 mini roundabouts. Alternative 5 include tabled intersections at Swinton and Northwest 1st Avenue. And alternative 6 was all tabled intersections at Northwest 2nd, Northwest 1st, and at Swinton Avenue. So when we, the majority of the city staff who looked at this prefer the tabled intersection type of thing. And when we brought this forward to the elected officials, we met with them one-on-one. This was in 2019. So your predecessors' input on this was that no one wanted roundabouts. That was not a preferred alternative. The preferred alternatives were to have tabled intersections, to consider doing an all-pedestrian phase traffic light at Swinton and Atlantic to alleviate some of the frustration of pedestrians who are having trouble getting across that intersection and getting into the downtown area. The mid-block crossing was also a very popular alternative, along with traffic calming and signage to begin to divert traffic away from the Swinton and Atlantic intersection as early as Northwest 2nd Avenue to make that bypass over to First Street and then all the way down to Federal Highway to give a downtown bypass. And this is the refined concept plan from Alternative 6 that includes all three of the tabled intersections. It has median areas across the road. Northwest 2nd Avenue would begin to direct traffic to the south and around the library complex and over to First Avenue, and then take First Avenue down to Federal to give an alternative route to going on Atlantic Avenue for those people who are not just wanting to drive Atlantic Avenue and see the sights. So for those people who are headed to the beach or headed somewhere else other than Atlantic Avenue, there's a clear route that would provide that alternative. At Northwest First Avenue, the one thing that we have done there is prevent a left-hand turn off of Northwest Avenue onto West Atlantic. That would be to prevent blocking in that intersection to allow the smooth flow of traffic down to the Swinton and Atlantic intersection. And as you can see in this alternative, we have also done away with the right-hand turn lane in that first block between Northwest First Avenue and Swinton, and that will encourage people to turn onto First, to go down to First and then cut back over for those people who are wanting to head south on Swinton Avenue. That doesn't mean you can't turn right on Swinton Avenue from down there. We're just doing away with that right-hand turn lane, which causes a lot of backup and traffic congestion. In the place of that, where you can see the blue hatching, we'll be expanding the pedestrian sidewalks with new paver brick sidewalks that will make a much wider pedestrian lane. This is a picture of what Swinton north of that intersection would look like. The North Swinton intersection, there will now be southbound on Swinton, there will now be 3 lanes. There will be a dedicated right turn lane, a straight through lane, and a dedicated left turn lane, where now the straight through lane and the left turn lane are combined. So that helps. There's also a concrete median there. The green area is provided as a pedestrian area of refuge to give for those people who are going to dash across Swinton in a high traffic area. That gives them a spot where they can stop and rest and then head on over if they see that they're not going to make it. that that mid-block crosswalk also will be lighted, and there will be, you know, the buttons that you can push, and we're considering putting the in-pavement markers that will be a flashing beacon when someone's trying to cross there. One of the things I forgot to mention on the previous slide is that one of the more dangerous things that we witness on a daily basis at the Swinton and Atlantic intersection is on the west side of that intersection, where you have to go across the right turn lane, 2 travel lanes, and then 2 more travel lanes to get to the other side. It's a very long crosswalk, and many of our older visitors and residents aren't able to make that entire cross in one light. So it's a dangerous situation. By eliminating that right turn lane and widening the sidewalk there, we eliminate that potential problem. So here's we always have to get to the pretty pictures. So this is Atlantic Avenue and Swinton intersection, looking from the west to the east. And the above picture is what it looks like today. The below picture will show you what it can look like if we move forward with this project. It provides some of the safety improvements are that it provides a downtown bypass, provides wider sidewalks leading into the downtown area. There's shorter pedestrian crossing distance, reduced traffic congestion, and it encourages people to begin parking west of Swinton. And these are just pictures, more pretty pictures of what all the new intersections will look like. And that is the end of the presentation, if you have any questions.
Any questions from anybody in the commission?
Not really questions. I mean, I
Yes,
think.
Ms. Casal.
Oh, I apologize. I thought you were looking at me. I'm sorry. It's a great presentation. So the concrete on Atlantic, that will be the divider between people going east-west. It's hard to tell the size but I mean, that would just be like a foot narrow concrete divider.
It would be like a standard median width.
Okay. No, the stakeholders have good input. I don't like the roundabouts that much myself. I find people get very confused. That idea of the stop, what did you call it? The all pedestrian phase traffic, would that be all day long, or would you just do that at the busy times?
We would do that in peak hours,
Right.
Which are like Friday evening,
Yes.
Saturday evening, and then Saturday night a little bit later.
Okay.
Downtown is constantly changing.
Right.
And we would need to update the traffic observance that we've done to determine exactly what those peak hours would be right now.
And I like that crosswalk because I cross there. People park there, so they cross there automatically. Thank you for the presentation.
Thank you. Commissioner?
Yeah, no questions. Just want to say thank you for the presentation, and just happy to see that after 6 years it's about to happen. Yeah.
Commissioner?
I'd like to say thank you as well. That intersection has troubled me for many, many years, and I think this is a good step forward to make it safe for everybody. So I applaud you. Good for you.
Thank you.
Commissioner
I'll
Wall?
just join my colleagues in saying thanks for the great presentation, Missy, and it's exciting this is happening now.
Thank you very much for the presentation. As a person's family from Boston, I love roundabouts myself, but I understand why they're not popular. I do have a question. You're not talking when you're diverting people to First Street, I guess north, and First Street south. It's the same for the south, correct?
In this particular iteration of it, they are being diverted to the south, not necessarily to the north, because once you get a block north off of Atlantic, you're getting into residential neighborhood. So we like to keep people in that commercial corridor as much as possible.
You'll probably need at some point to put a traffic signal then at Federal and First if you're trying to divert that to be your traffic corridor.
Perhaps.
And getting rid of the right turn lane is probably a good idea They did it on southbound Federal to Atlantic, which caused people to go through the Marina District, but we don't have that problem here. So, very good presentation. I probably will have more questions as I dig into it further, but I
If
appreciate
it
it.
makes you happy, we're putting in a new roundabout on North Swinton.
I saw it. It makes me happy. Thank you very much.
You're
It's
welcome.
compromise. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Okay.
We now have comments from the public. The meeting is now open for public comment from anybody wishing to speak. Are you finished, City Manager?
I am. I yield at this time. Thank you,
Okay.
sir.
Anyone wishing to speak on any topic or agenda item other than the quasi-judicial items or public hearing items? The public will have an opportunity to speak on quasi-judicial and public hearing items later in the meeting as those agenda items are called. For public comment, please sign in and state your name and address for the record. You will each have 3 minutes. You signed in and everything? Right?
Signed in.
Perfect.
My name's Marty Doro, and I'm at 236 Southeast 5th Avenue in Delray Beach. We are residents for about a year and a half. Love the place, love everything about it. Great activities, great services. But my comment today is a suggestion or something to consider, and that is the first responders, police and fire. We see them a lot because we live near downtown and we're out and about all the time. And I feel sorry for them with the long pants on and the uniform pants when it gets really hot. So I would love to see appropriate uniforms, proper specifications. I think there's like 511 tactical pants, those type of things. It would make me feel better because they'd be more relaxed and be able to do their job better and maybe make them a little happier too. So, and I don't think it costs anything, and I'm a very finance-oriented fellow, so keep the budget the same, let them wear shorts, and let everybody be happy. And I'm done.
I wish we were in Bermuda.
Okay.
But we do have the police chief here and representatives of the fire department here. And, I'm not adverse to making our first responders comfortable if it fits with, they can do their job. So, thank you, sir.
Have a great evening. Thank you very much.
Montre Bennett, 323 Northwest 2nd Avenue. To all of you, the people who run the city, I just want to give honor to lives. First, I want to honor my cousin who was born today, and I want to honor my son who was also born today. 2003, my cousin transitioned. In 2013, my son transitioned. Okay. I wrote some notes. I talked about the ancestors, and I talked about the angels. Okay. We are not soldiers. Peace runs through our hearts. Wars rage on regardless. We need not take part. Life can be a struggle, a perpetual night, but the sun won't rise quicker if we choose to fight. So let's down our weapons and open our arms. Become a safe haven of kindness and calm. Life need not be a battle where we merely survive. We wait to rest in peace, but really, we should live it while we are alive. We wait to rest in peace, but we should live it while we are alive. That's all I want to say today. And Missy, while y'all at it, make this whole Atlanta Avenue pedestrian friendly. Not just one section, but all of it. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you very much for your words of wisdom.
Thank you.
Hello, Carol Anderson, 4812 West Bexley Park Drive. Mr. Mayor,
Yes, ma'am.
to the best of my recollection, it was during your previous term of office that I first came up here and said, I am afraid of that intersection at Swinton and Atlantic. Whether walking or driving, this is absolutely a threat to health and life. I remember doing some, as I have attended meetings over the years, there have been proposals raised, there have been excuses made that the state has to take care of it. I am so pleased to see that there is a real proposal. I hope it will be approved. I mean, I could suggest something else. If you were to have, God forbid, what do they call them when you get all kinds of people in the community together? I mean, we would be another 10 years down the road. Let's do it, okay? Thank you.
Thank you very much. I was retired soon after our first meeting, but I'm very happy we're getting to it now. And we are planning to have more public comment and more charrettes and more, we're going to be doing all of that. But thank you. Thank you.
Andrea Bruton, 703 Place Devant, Delray. Greetings, Mayor and Commissioners. I'm a lifelong resident of Delray, and I am very excited to hear that there's a possibility that the City Commission meetings will return to 6 o'clock. And I say that because working class people didn't get to attend the meetings in the past maybe 4 or 5 years. And as long as I've been here, the meetings were at 6 o'clock up until the last, I think, 2018. Which brings me to my other concern. City events, the ribbon cutting ceremonies, I've noticed that in recent years they've been changed to, they occur during the week when working class people cannot attend. I know the homeowners on 8th Avenue, Southwest 8th Avenue, you had a ribbon cutting ceremony on a Friday morning when most of the homeowners were at work. In my neighborhood at Barrack Park, you had a ribbon cutting ceremony on a Friday morning when most of the residents were at work. My concern, growing up, those events were held on Saturday mornings. And I'm asking for working class people, can we get back to that so that we can attend? If those events are for us, allow us to attend. Thank you.
Good comment, and we'll take that under advisement.
Hi, my name is Ron Platt, 5120 Pineview Circle. It's in the Seagate Hamlet, a little west of Congress on Atlantic, in Delray. I'd like to make sure that you speak tonight about the cancer at the DDA meeting, which I think you're well aware of already, is that person that has ethical issues, and I don't see it on the agenda. I just hope it's discussed. I don't know where it's at right now, Lynn, or with other people, but it really needs to be addressed and as quick as possible. I mean, the person could, will have his hearing or right to appeal, so it could drag on, and I just think we need to get to this as soon as possible. It's a cancer. I think there's other semi-cancers on the DDA. People are just totally on their cell phones a lot, and texting each other or other people, and not paying attention. And I think it's terrible that Laura Simon, when there was an evaluation done of her performance, two people gave her, it couldn't be any lower ratings, and it shouldn't be any higher ratings than you could give this woman. She does an enormous job, and I just wanted to mention that how could those two people be so unaware, so absent or mean-spirited to give her those ratings? She does a great job, but I just hope you are aware of these issues, not just the one issue, that's the main cancer, but what else is going on at the DDA. And I may be throwing my hat in the ring for an at-large position, but I don't really want to deal with that right now. I just want to deal with what's happening there now. So thank you very much.
Well, in compliance with the law, a notice was provided at the last meeting.
Has it been? Okay.
Notice has been provided, and a hearing will be held on the 16th with the next meeting.
Okay, great.
That matter is on our agenda for discussion.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Yvonne Odom, 3905 Lawson Boulevard. First of all, I apologize for not speaking last meeting. I came a little late doing my duties, because I wanted to personally thank Adam and Ryan for their service to the community. their unwavering dedication to this city, and I think we are a better city for their service. Then congratulations to our new city commissioners and our returning mayor. My expectation as a citizen is that if I call you, I expect a return call, and you call me, I'm going to call you back. I pledge my support. I have been here for over 58 years, my entire adult life, both personal and professional career, all in Delray Beach. Again, congratulations. I look forward to working with you, and my expectation is that, like I said, if you call me, I'll call you back, but if I call you, I expect you to call me back. That's what I think this city makes it so unique. We love it, and I hope and pray that your tenure will be one of service to all of the citizens and the residents, those who voted for you and those of us who did not. Again, congratulations. Also, on a second note, I want to congratulate our police department. I saw in the news, I didn't know anything about it, that they got this big $1 million grant. So that's a kudos. You know I love my police department. And also, this young man, whoever it was, commented about Laura, and that goes me back to something that I had proposed when I served on a committee that evaluated, you know how you have the evaluations. Sometimes I think the scoring, it should be like how the Olympics did it years ago. You throw out the high, you throw out the low, and then you get a fairer judgment, because people who are not credible, they can either skew it one way or the other. So I think consideration should be given. I gave that suggestion after I witnessed people scoring unusually low when they didn't want somebody. So if you throw out the high, throw out the low, you have a fairer judgment. That's just my comments. Again, congratulations.
Thank you for your suggestions. You and I have known each other a long time. I think you have my cell phone number.
Yes.
So.
I didn't call you yet.
No, I know, but I'm waiting. I know you will.
George Long, 46 North Swinton. Praise the Lord. This is about time. I've always been an advocate for the crosswalk. I used to have a baby carriage with a doll in it so people would slow down when I went across there. I watch that at night sometimes, and all you can see is barely a silhouette. Sometimes people cross there all night, all in front of the cars. Sometimes whole families, children, dogs, everything, all crossing in front of the cars. It's amazing. And also, I have a very personal interest in this table at the intersection of Northwest 1st and Swinton, because I live between 1st and Atlantic. And as I go that way, I can't turn my right lane turn signal on to get in my yard because people think I'm turning on 1st Street. I've been hit already, just, like pow, right in front of me because they think I've turned. And if I turn on my signal, they think I'm turning at Atlantic. So right now, I think I'm breaking the law, and I use the emergency blinkers. So it used to be you could only use it with a stopped vehicle, and just pray I don't get knocked into the big sea grape tree. So please do that. And then I want to talk to you about this refined concept plan about the driveways. I have two now. I only see one on here. We'll get with you. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Commission. Deborah Walker, 1312 Northwest 2nd Street here in Delray. I too have lived in Boston for 7 years. However, I lived in Florida first. And Floridians have no concept of what a roundabout is. And when you guys put them in, someone should have given lessons on what they were. Because when I moved to Boston, every time I would ask in my office, what am I going to do now? And this is before GPS. You're going to go down here and you're going to go to the roundabout. And one day I said, what in the crap is a roundabout? Okay? So therefore, I am against more roundabouts in Delray. If anything, they need to be removed. Or we need to have some lessons on what roundabouts are, how to drive in roundabouts, because people do not know. And all of us in Florida drive. We have buses, supposedly now, and public transportation, but I've lived here all of my life except the 20 years that I moved away, and people cannot drive here with roundabouts. So please, if we're going to continue to add roundabouts, Missy and Mr. Mayor, please, we need some education on what a roundabout is and how to drive in a roundabout. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mrs. Walker. And I got my one round. That's it. I mean, I was overruled, and that's
Good.
fine. I can be
We don't
overruled.
need any more.
Thank you for your input. Any other members of the public? Seeing none, we now go to our consent agenda, which, as amended with the item we changed.
Yes, sir.
So, any other comments on the consent agenda? Otherwise, I need a motion to approve.
Motion to approve as amended.
Second.
Mr. Carney?
Yes.
Mr. Markert?
Yes.
Mr. Long?
Yes.
Ms. Cassell? Yes. Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Good. So now we're going to the regular agenda, and we're going to start with the item that was pulled. So if you would mind, City Manager?
Sure. So thank you, Mr. Carney, because you and I had an opportunity to visit about this just yesterday, giving us the opportunity to respond. As you did share, you have
People
an
raised
interest in
issues
discussing
saying, why are we giving this, they were confused as to because it's the meter company.
Of course, and in many respects, ladies and gentlemen, we're not terribly happy with this application. However, Badger Meters has been with the city of Delray Beach for about a decade at this particular point in time, and the particular consideration involves the fact that new development activity is to be executed over the next few years, and the recommendation coming from the Department of Utilities does support the need to continue to work in this regard. Of course, we will be offering recommendations soon enough with respect to the future trajectory of advanced metering infrastructure, because of course there's an appetite to do so, and I fully agree in that regard. However, given the current state of affairs, I'd like to give Mr. Hajimiri an opportunity to offer some additional background as to why we are where we are with respect to the installation of additional meters as part of our overall system. Mr. Hajimiri, if you would please step forward.
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Commissioner Hassan Hajimiri, Utilities Department. The item before you is to approve the agreement for city standard for Badger meter for 2 years. And each year is $160,000, our estimate. That's our projection. Out of this $160,000, actually $114,000 of it is to purchase the new meter from Badger for the development throughout the city, or somebody that changes there, because we have a lot of meter upgrade. As you all know, the smaller homes are becoming bigger, so we go from the 1/2 inch to 1 inch, or from 1 inch to 2 inch meter. We still have to have those meters here to provide it to the developer, to the engineer, so they can proceed with their project. So cost of those are coming back to the utilities, because those, they pay utilities, they pay the cities for those connections. So out of the $160,000, $114,000 estimate. We don't know exactly what's going to happen within the next 12 months, but that's what is coming back to the city. It is not to fix the existing, problem that we have with the communication devices of Badger. Not a penny of that is going to be spent to fix that. And the remaining $40-some thousand of it is for the cost of, we have 21,000 meters throughout the city. More than 3/4 of them are working correctly. There are fees for each one of those encoders, and these are the costs that they were established back in 2015 when city got into the agreement with the, it wasn't Badger at that time, the name of the company was Innovative Metering Solution, Inc., up to 2018. So at that time, these costs were established that, all right, for each encoder is 12 cents a month. So we have to pay that. There are those gateway devices that they communicate back and forth. There are fees, monthly fees for those too. So I hope that's explained, that this really does not have nothing to do with the malfunctioning communication devices that right now Badger is in process of replacing them at no cost to the city.
So none of the warranty issues and anything are associated with those.
None of these are here.
And
correct. All those, the warranty items are all covered by Badger. They providing labor. This is the first time even in their business that they're actually providing labor to the municipality to replace those, because typically they just provide the device. They said, okay, you have 20 of them or 100 or 1,000 failed. Under warranty, this is 1,000 replacement. Send us the old one, we send you the new one. But now they're actually shipping those items to us. We store them, and then they have their staff here to replace them. As far as their progress, we have had 350 installed right now. It is less than what I was expecting, but there were some challenges in the beginning. They shipped a different size of the encoders for the meter, so they have to ship them back. And now we are hoping that starting next week, we will have at least 500. The 500 is already in the way to come for the next week. And they are going to bring 4 people, actually, 4 person to do that. Right now, they only have 2. So hopefully they will have 4 crew to go throughout the city, and we can do this quicker. So upon installation of those encoders, there are a lot of office work that needs to happen in order to transfer those units into our customer account.
Any questions from the commission?
Motion to approve.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Clerk?
Mr. Markert?
Yes.
Mr. Long?
Yes.
Ms. Cassell?
Yes.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Mayor Carney?
Yes.
Thank you very
yes.
much.
Thank you, Mr. Hajime.
Yes, sir.
Very much.
Thank you.
Okay, going now to 7A of the regular agenda. Attorney Jellin, you will be making this presentation? Says so in my notes.
Sorry about that, I was writing something. Good evening. Resolution 82-24 is a request to extend the current zoning in progress that the city has in place. The former commission had directed staff to issue a zoning in progress with regard to in lieu parking requests. Those are those requests that come in when somebody can't meet their parking requirements to the city and they're able to pay off into the city's in lieu parking fund. And so we've had a zoning in progress in place. Staff is almost completed with their review and analysis, and we will be bringing forth proposed ordinances. And so what this will do is simply extend the current zoning in progress that's scheduled to end on May 2nd, 2023 for an additional 180 days.
Okay. Any comments or questions from the commission? How is this being received out there with all the developers and things? Have they expressed concerns or?
I wouldn't have that information. I know there was one applicant
I
when
see
we initially.
I see someone coming up to address the question, though.
Please do, Ms. Geniotis.
Sorry. So in lieu of parking, and some of you are more experienced in development in downtown than others, and so we do have a new board. It's an incentive that can be used, or a tool that can be used to accomplish certain things. And ultimately, when 20 years ago, or 10 years ago, we were trying to spur on downtown development, this was a way to do that. There have been other priorities that the previous board was focused on, things like limiting the use of it to historic buildings potentially, or to existing smaller scale buildings that are changing use. So considering we have, some of you are new and you haven't heard any of this, we are kind of finishing the draft, and before we bring it through planning board or between planning board and first reading, I also wanted to see if anybody wanted to meet individually to go over your goals. It's a new board too, so I'm sort of want to make sure I'm taking it in the right direction. Right now we started to have, it used to be 1 or 2 or 5 or 7 spaces. We have developments coming in that are 26, 32. You know, they're bringing in more intense development. It's the finding that is in the code now says that there's adequate public parking for this to be offset. And the previous commission raised the concern that perhaps there is no longer adequate public parking to continue to accommodate this. So this is what we have been And that, and like which goals should it be used to foster adaptive reuse versus new construction versus, you know, the price points as well. They have not been revisited recently either. And so that's something else we've been looking at.
Understood. Commissioner Casal, you have a question?
I do. Because I was a proponent of taking control of the in-lieu parking. I was concerned when someone needed 50 spaces and they were getting 28 in lieu. That didn't seem appropriate. But I'm also concerned if we're taking it off the table altogether and we don't allow for an option for a minimal amount in some instances. So that's my feeling on it. I'd be concerned about 100% taking it off the table.
Right. And the draft does not do that right now. Okay. And I think at the minimal change is that we should revisit the price points that you're using to buy them out. Construction costs have changed over time, and the base level for a parking space that you're doing a one-time payment for should be updated. From there, we can take it to percentage. Right now there's also a loophole where you can do a certain percentage for new construction and then a higher percentage for adaptive reuse. So you build this building, you get it CO'd, and then you bring in a new in lieu for the tenant. So now it's been double dipped. So there's some things like that also need to be tightened up.
Could I ask another question?
Yes, please.
When we talk about parking availability, because you're right, what you would see is a project come in front of you and say, well, we have parking here, we have parking there. And then you have 5 competing projects getting parking in lieu of and all claiming these same spaces. Is there a way for us to know what is truly available when we're making these determinations to really be critical in our thinking about it?
So Public Works has the ability to tell us how much, I'm like turning it to see backwards in my head, how much the garage capacity, what's being used. We have the license plates, we can do the LiDAR. Our parking management plan ultimately moves us towards having sensors in our on-street spaces. We can certainly pull the data from the meters that tell us how much they're earning, which gives us some information as well. And then our parking management plan, parking curbside management plan, was giving us those techniques and thresholds for, okay, you don't have availability. Is it time to raise the price? Is it time to meter a free lot? Like there's other techniques you can do that kind of push some people into, I'll just Uber. I'm not going to deal with it. So it is sort of an interconnected sort of plan on how you manage parking. Right. We don't have the ability to get data off of the on-street spaces per space with the sensors, but that is the direction we're moving.
Okay.
So we can show you who's used it, where they are, and we can start by reining it in, and then you can direct me to loosen it up however you see fit when we bring it forward.
Any other questions from any commissioners?
I just have a comment. I would love to take you up on your offer of doing a deep dive on this, since I'm one of the new guys. So I'd like to do that in the next few days if we could, or next week. Whatever works for you.
Okay.
Thank you.
My only comment is can you do it faster than 180 days? Because I would like you to say we really don't need 180 days, Mayor. We can do it in 90.
So honestly, I wanted to hear from you today as well, is that it can go on to the next Planning and Zoning Board meeting, but I wanted some direction as to whether the new members of the board were comfortable with that, or whether you wanted to speak with me first, or do it in a parallel effort, or.
I think the commissioner should get comfortable with it first, but I think to the extent that we can accelerate it from 180 days, I'd like to do that.
I mean, it's close given the previous direction, so we can make adjustments.
I think it's a valuable thing, and I think this is long overdue, but I just would like everyone to be comfortable with it.
Great.
Any other questions?
Motion to approve Resolution 82-24.
Second.
Second.
Mr. Long?
Yes.
Ms. Cassell?
Yes.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Mayor Carney?
Yes.
Mr. Markert?
Yes.
All right, item 7B. This is the one that I've been waiting for. You all have in front of you the local rules. You will see that I have proposed an amendment to the local rules in accordance with what the county does and other cities do to kind of move things along. Because, for example, some of the things we did with the resolutions and things could have been done by, voice vote, all in favor, all not. Would you like to? You're passing out the amendment.
Yes,
Okay.
I don't think they have it yet.
Okay.
I mean, I know they don't have it yet.
Okay, they don't have it. But anyway, that's what I would like to propose, is because I want to kind of bring it in line to what the county and other cities do, is that we don't always have to go through a roll call vote for every single item that we are. Do you need one back there? Thank you. Okay. Got it. I know what it says. So that is a proposed amendment to the local rules. It will help speed up meetings, and that's the purpose of this rule. So we just, it's essentially by all in favor, and we would say aye, and then it's supposed to going through the roll call for every single item. Those items requiring a supermajority vote will still have to be called by roll, and any commissioner who wants a roll call vote can call for a roll call vote. So I'm not saying that it always will. If you feel that there's a roll call vote necessary on the particular item, you can call for it, and it will be done.
My only concern would be the minutes reflect who voted how.
Clerk's
How
gonna
will
take-
that be
Clerk's gonna
addressed?
make a note.
So you would still know who voted what in these instances? No,
No,
the
how we
vote
vote.
itself, when we're just verbally all at the same time saying aye or nay. How are you going to jot it down?
Yeah, they'll still be able to record the votes as tallied.
Can review the video footage if need be, right?
I don't think we're going to run into that problem, but, you know.
Listen, I'm in support of anything that speeds up the meeting, so I'm on
Well,
board.
you're mad at me at trying to move it to 6, so I'm trying to do things to address your concerns of moving the meetings along, so. But anyway, so if no one's objecting, I'd like to have that amendment included in the local rules and seek a motion to approve.
May I ask our attorney, do you have any concerns with this at all?
No, I mean, Mayor Carney and I really hashed this out yesterday and today, and, I feel comfortable that for supermajorities, we have to do a roll call.
Right.
And those are very limited, as you know. And if a commissioner felt like they wanted a roll call for a specific vote, you do have the ability. So, I would just, the clerk is going to need to, in the minutes, be very clear as to who were the yeas and who were the nays, because that's where we can fall into problems in not complying with our charter. You can't just say it was a unanimous vote. So you have to still delineate who is who. And this rule will also say it's going to be recorded by the clerk, and she will announce at the end of the vote what the vote is. So, we can try it. The nice thing about our rules is that we can always change them if it's not working out for people and people feel more comfortable with a roll call. I think there's going to be a little bit of an adjustment because we're so used to a roll call that, but I did some research on it, and I'm not concerned in the sense that we do have some safeguards in here.
We may have to get you a higher chair, though. See us soon. So can we have a motion for the local rules as amended?
So moved.
Second.
You still have to call the roll.
Last time.
Ms. Cassell.
I guess so. We'll try it. Yes.
Ms. Burns.
Yes.
Mayor Carney.
Yes.
Mr. Markert.
Yes.
Mr. Long.
Yes.
Great. Thank you.
So I'll make those changes for you, and I'll send them out to the commission
And just circulate
tomorrow.
it for the group. Perfect. Next, we have a nomination for the appointment to the Police Advisory Board. Terry, you want to make this presentation, or who is the person?
Okay, so the person that will be making the nomination will be Mr. Markert, Commissioner Markert.
That's fine.
And it's for the position that he vacated. And so the names are listed here. We just need a nomination and a second.
Chief, these are big shoes to fill. I'm just letting you know.
Literally.
Literally. Size 13s. I would like to put forward the nomination of Mr. John Strasser.
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
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 Yeah, there we go. You see how easy it is? See how easy it is?
Oh, now I know this is
Unanimous.
We're going to have to be very thorough.
Oh no, we're
reading
gonna
those
have to be
minutes.
thorough. We'll get through this. Trust me, you're gonna like this in the end.
So can we do a roll call? Can we just do a roll call?
Yeah.
You want to do a roll call?
Yes, please.
You don't
Can we
like the
just-
new thing we just adopted?
Can we just do the roll call and
Yes,
then
please.
okay.
Would
Please.
you do a roll call for us, please?
Ms. Burns.
Yes.
Mayor Carney.
Yes.
Mr. Markert.
Yes.
Mr. Long.
Yes.
Ms. Cassell.
Yes, thank you.
Still think it was simpler the other way. As the commission, we're adopting the dates for the future commission meetings in the upcoming year. Has everyone had an opportunity to review the dates? Do you have any conflicts, changes, weddings you got to go to? Something we need to know? Birthdays for spouses or mothers? Or?
If I May, did you want to make changes first? Because you might be making the same or close to the same changes as me, because I was looking to figure out, the mayor was always amazing at figuring out how to consolidate our schedule so that we could enjoy our summer.
Well, we've already got no meetings in the last 2 weeks of June, no meetings in the last 2 weeks of September.
Right, but so if we were to look at, so if we were to combine one of the budget meetings, because we have two, presumably one will be very lengthy, the second may not be as lengthy, we could double up, so we could have June 18th be our last meeting in June, and then we could jump to the 9th and do that as the budget and regular meeting, and then we could do the 16th, so we would have the equivalent of almost of a lot of weeks. We could all enjoy ourselves if you're okay with that.
Yeah, I'm actually fine with that, but I would only say that if we're going to combine a regular meeting with a budget, and I'm very keen on budgets,
Me too.
we're going to need to start that meeting earlier.
It would be an earlier meeting in
It'd
that
have to be
regard, and we will
an
schedule it
earlier meeting,
accordingly.
yes.
So if I can offer a bit of a
And the question
suggestion.
would be, do you want to do that? I think the second budget meeting would be the better one to do that, because the first one would be the most informative for us to start reviewing.
Well, the second budget meeting, you're talking about the one on July 9th. You want to move the
Correct.
regular meeting to also July 9th and have both those meetings on July 9th.
Correct.
That's
Yep.
fine. All I want to make sure is that we have adequate time to,
I agree with you.
So, if I may, Mr. Mayor and ladies and gentlemen, so of course, given the direction for regular meetings to begin at 6 o'clock effective next month, for July 9th, a budget workshop would probably begin 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, something to that effect, and we would be able to have that flexibility. So, on that note, at least a couple hours in advance of the regular meeting beginning, and we would make that arrangement. And I would like to personally endorse the calendar for July to include the 16th as well. Much like we're involved in for the month of April, they're the same type of calendar, with the exception of July having 31 days versus 30 in April.
so what are you saying about July 16th?
Those are good days in which to have the second meeting.
The 9th and the 16th.
Yes, ma'am.
So we want to have a second, I don't mind if we make both of those accommodate, as long as we start them early.
Yes, sir. That's
because-
what I'm recommending.
because
Wait, could you repeat that? I apologize.
is also talking about making on July 16th a combination of a budget and a regular workshop, but with
We
the
don't
budget
have a
meeting.
budget,
No, he's making an
Oh,
amendment.
so you're moving the,
No,
so
we're
you're
gonna have
taking
the
out the
budget,
11th?
regular and budget on the 9th, and regular and budget on the 16th.
Okay, but what about the 11th? Is that staying in as well? So we're doing 3 budget meetings?
July, it won't be necessary for July 11th if we
No,
proceed.
June 11th is
June
our
11th.
budget meeting.
So June 11th, I apologize. June 11th would be a preliminary kickoff discussion. So what I envision is, as part of the May 3rd goal setting session, we'll have some general commentary along those lines. We actually began this process beginning in 2023 with a June engagement. In previous experiences, they typically engage beginning in July. Why July 9th and July 16th will work quite well, because a lot will be accomplished in terms of policy direction via the June 11th engagement. So I would like to include that session as well.
Okay, so forgive me. June 11th, we are doing the budget.
Yes. Preliminary.
And do you want to combine the 18th then too? Because you're going to do the budget on the 9th and the 16th
No, leave
as
the
well?
18th as a regular meeting.
The 18th as a regular meeting only.
Correct, but what I'm trying to understand, you're talking about doing 3 budget meetings.
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so if we're doing 3, do we want to take the 11th and combine it with the 4th, or the 18th, and give ourselves an additional day off in June?
I like separate budget.
Okay,
meetings.
that's
I
fine.
generally like
That's all
separate
I'm
budget
asking.
meetings, so we
I
can
agree with
focus
you.
on, because there's
Okay.
going to be a lot of questions on this budget, and I know we all talked about it when we ran for
Yeah.
office. We had all these questions, and the city manager and the clerk and are going to be inundated with a lot of questions.
So for
and
clarification, the 4th, we're on our regular meeting. The 11th, we're having our budget workshop.
Right.
The 18th, we're having our regular meeting. The 9th, we're going to do a budget workshop and a regular meeting combined.
Right.
And the 16th, you want to incorporate a budget.
Another budget meeting.
Okay, I like that.
To
And
the
then-
extent necessary, to the extent required. I mean, but,
Perfect.
but,
And then
and
the
start 'em early.
25th, we don't have to participate in that.
Well, that's the town hall meeting.
Correct. I'm just double checking because this is our schedule.
Yeah, that's the town hall. That's where we present it all, where the public gets to participate, which obviously is important.
All right.
Okay. And then if we wanted to, I'm just throwing out ideas of how everybody could get a lot of time off in the summer. We could combine our August 13th workshop meeting with we could have a 5th meeting, combine the workshop meeting with that, or combine it with the 19th and give ourselves a little space off in August, if everybody's so inclined.
I don't take time off, so you
Okay,
know.
that's fine. And then we also have, if you go down to December, we're not taking any meetings out, we're just juggling them around to optimize the schedule. You could take the 10th of December, the 17th meeting, make it the 10th. 17th is very close to Christmas.
I suppose that's fine. I'm not bothered with that. I mean, are we bothered with that? 17th, so we move the 17th to the 10th?
Correct.
Is that any objections from anybody up here?
Sure.
Anybody care? Okay.
I don't care.
Okay. Great. That's it. Those are my recommendations.
But we're allowed to have meetings in January, February, and March next year, just checking.
I feel like we should double up.
Excuse me,
Hey,
Mr. Mayor.
I'm helping
That's
everybody
fine.
up here.
That's fine. So,
Mr.
We
Carney.
still have the same amount of meetings, it's just we're moving the schedule.
yes,
It
correct.
was just brought to my attention that I believe December 3rd is the tree lighting night, so there may be a
okay.
conflict.
Ooh, yeah.
Actually, no.
I don't know.
I think that would take place the week prior. That's typically the final Tuesday of the month of November. So
No, Laura's saying that.
they're making an adjustment in that regard.
Yeah, so
Yep, because of that's correct. Thanksgiving falls a little later that year, and so therefore it would fall December 3rd. Not in a million years.
so December 3rd.
That's
The tree lighting's not till 9, correct?
The tree lighting would actually begin circa 6 o'clock, but
I'm always
We're
late,
changing
so
the tree
I have
lighting
no
to
idea. By the
10.
time I'm there, it's lit. I don't know when you do it.
A little earlier.
If I have to choose, I'm going to the tree lighting. So
Evidently, you know, that's true.
so given the legal requirement,
I did it
for-
when I was younger. I used to go all the time.
So we're at the 10th?
So
for 2 meetings, the 10th and one other date.
then it kind of means we have to have it on the 10th,
yeah,
Commissioner Casal,
10th
okay?
and the 17th.
The
then
10th and the
you're doing?
17th would have
We'll have
to
the
be.
10th and the 17th, and the 3rd we're going to defer to the tree lighting
Got it.
at 6 o'clock.
Yep.
Or
6:30.
thereabouts.
Yeah, don't be late.
I won't be late.
Mayor.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
Just for clarification, the local rules that you just adopted, we don't start till 6 o'clock until June because of notice requirements for the May meeting. We wanted to make sure that we didn't have an issue.
Say that again?
Our 6 o'clock meetings are not
Starts in
going to
June.
start until June.
Right.
I just wanted to be clear because I think somebody said April or May, and they're not starting in
I
May.
thought it was May, so it's June?
It's June.
You guys are getting, okay, sleep late. Okay, so where we are now is we are going to have we're going to have the budget workshop. We're going to have June is unchanged, correct? We're doing June and June 11th and June 18th, fine.
Yep.
July 2nd is now going to be canceled, and we're going to be having both the regular and the budget workshop on July the 9th. We're going to be starting the budget workshop earlier in the day.
Right.
On July 16th, we're going to have that same schedule of the budget and the workshop. On July 25th, we're going to have the town hall budget meeting. Then, we didn't touch August, right?
Right.
Didn't touch August. And the next was December, where we are now going to not have anything on December the 3rd.
No, we are because,
No, we're moving it to December the 10th. We're going to have a regular meeting on December the 10th.
Yes, thank you.
Fine.
Because the 3rd is the tree lighting.
Yes,
Right.
sir.
We all agreed?
Yep.
Yeah, thank you
We
so
need a
much.
motion to approve the schedule as,
To approve the meeting dates as amended.
second.
can we, when can I,
You can, go ahead.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Nailed it.
Okay. That was fun. Anyway. Designation of Palm Beach Transportation Planning Agency Governing Board Member.
I would nominate you, Mayor. I know that Mayor Petrolia sat on that. I was her alternate, and I think when the mayor is involved, it's helpful. There's a lot of big projects, big considerations that impact the city.
Okay.
I'd love to throw my hat in the ring for this. I was privileged to be the alternate in this role for the last year, and we unanimously agreed that it should go to Mayor Petrolia last year this time because it didn't make sense for a new board member to have it. I wanted it at the time, but it made sense for our former mayor to have it because she had experience on the board, and it rotated to her from the alternate. position. And I just wanted to go over a few things about this board, if the board will humor me here, because I think it's important to remember this isn't just a ceremonial role. It's an extremely important position for our city, and I do understand this agency and how it works. Right now, there's about $30 million that's been prioritized over the next 10 years in TPA funds for our city specifically. That includes projects on Barwick Road, Lowson Boulevard, Homewood, and Old Germantown Road. These are the safe routes to schools projects. So I think it's crucial that we have someone familiar with the TPA's major work products, kind of hitting the ground running with these. My relationship with all three directors, being Valerie Nielsen, Brian Rusher, and Andrew Olnier of the agency, would get us quick answers to our questions and needs. And the TPA is working on the 2050 Long-Range Transportation Plan. This steers investments in our community for the next 25 years. It's a big deal. So this LRTP includes walking, bicycling, transit, roadway lanes, and signal projects. The 5-year transportation improvement program is updated annually and feeds into this LRTP. And if Delray doesn't have kind of the best advocate, we could lose out on some of that funding. My last point I'll make here is the Board of County Commissioners recently indicated that infrastructure surtax renewal would not go forward and that a transportation surtax would be necessary countywide. And I understand the difference between these types of taxes and how Delray needs to position itself with projects to receive local surtax funding. So for these reasons, and to preserve the integrity of an organized rotation process for board appointments, I do believe at this time I'm the best choice to represent Delray Beach at the TPA, and I'd be happy to pass that torch to whoever the alternate is next year at this time.
Well, we need a second for,
I made a motion for Mr. Carney. If someone would second.
need a second?
Second.
Okay. We have a motion for, well, how do we do this? Do we do them in order, or how do we? I don't see this in the local
Should we do a
rules.
vote for my motion?
In the past, we've done, somebody makes a motion, there's a second, and then you can vote on it. At the last meeting, I think you just took the nominations and asked, who wants Mayor Carney, and then you guys went down the line, and then you did the next one, so.
Okay.
But in the
So-
past, we've done motions.
Let's do a roll call vote
Okay.
on the first nomination.
Mayor Carney,
Yes.
Mr. Markert,
Yes.
Mr. Long,
No.
Ms. Cassell,
Yes.
Ms. Burns.
No.
I will nominate Mr. Long as the alternate.
Second. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Would you call the roll, please?
Sure. Mr. Markert,
Yes.
Mr. Long,
Yes.
Ms. Cassell,
Yes.
Ms. Burns,
Yes.
Mayor Carney.
Yes. Now, we have no public hearings or second readings. We have no first readings. So we have comments by the city manager on inquiries and non-agenda items.
I yield at this time, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Okay. We have comments from the city attorney.
I am requesting a shade meeting pursuant to Florida Statute 286.011. The city is involved in litigation with Foster Marine Contractors versus the City of Delray Beach. It's case number 2017 CA 008953. I was going to request the meeting for May 7th at 4 o'clock, right before our 5 o'clock start meeting. We do have outside counsel on this case, and they're both available on that day if the commission's available on that day. And it's really to discuss litigation strategy and settlement, potential settlement negotiations. Present at the meeting would be Mayor Carney, Vice Mayor Cassell, Deputy Vice Mayor Long, Commissioner Burns, Commissioner Markert, our outside counsel, Sanaz Alampur, Christopher Stearns, myself, Lynn Jellin, the city attorney, Mr. Moore, city manager, and a certified court reporter. If everyone agrees, we would just need a motion in a second.
May 7th, you say?
May 7th at 4 o'clock.
4 o'clock. Okay.
The meeting would commence in the chambers, and then it would move over to the first floor conference room.
Do we have a motion to approve?
Motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Adopt-
Thank you.
passed.
That's all I have. Thank you.
City Commission comments. Who would like to go first? Mr.
I'll
Commissioner
start things off. So that's all right, Mayor. Thank you. I actually have maybe another potential update to our local rules, and it's based on something that just happened at our county and incidentally in the city of Stewart. It's fairly disturbing. Just a couple weeks ago, members of a neo-Nazi group showed up at a county commission meeting, and apparently just last night they showed up at the same group. 2 members of them showed up to the city of Stewart, and their board clerk actually warned us about it tonight in case they showed up. I guess they're going to various places. I don't know what happened last night, but I know at the county commission meeting they spent most of their time spewing racist, anti-Semitic vitriol followed by Nazi salutes at the end of the meeting. Unfortunately, the county commission was kind of forced to sit back and kind of let these hateful rants continue until their conclusion. And I'm unsure if that was due to their rules or if the presiding chair was just sort of caught off guard. But regardless, this type of hate speech has unfortunately become more common lately in various areas. So I spoke to Ms. Gillen about options for how we could strengthen our local rules to prevent or at least mitigate opportunities for anyone to use our chambers as a platform to broadcast hate speech. It does seem like there are some opportunities to beef up language under civility in our local rules. And the goal here would be to give Mayor Carney additional tools to swiftly shut down this type of speech and even remove its perpetrators from City Hall. And let me be clear, I'm a staunch advocate of the First Amendment and never have any of these issues come up in my time here. It wouldn't affect anyone who I've ever seen speak up here. This is more preemptive. And but I want to make the point though, freedom of speech is not an unfettered right, particularly if it's threatening, inciting, or defamatory. That being said, I'd like to seek this commission's consensus to allow Ms. Gillen to draft an amendment to the civility section of our local rules for our approval at a future meeting.
Well, this chair will never tolerate racist or anti-Semitic or Nazi or any of these comments ever.
Awesome.
So I don't know if I have the power to remove them, but I would have removed them anyway. But our local rules need to be, because we're living in a day now where people can do these things. And we just can't, I mean, I think we're all in agreement with Commissioner Long here.
Thank you so much. I had one more quick comment. First, I wanted to commend our police department for the rapid response to the several shootings that we had recently. And I wanted to ask in regard to the one that happened on the Old School Square parking deck. I was told that there had been, I guess, parties were happening up there regularly, and I wanted to know if we could maybe increase patrols or something on the parking deck. Maybe the chief could elucidate that for us.
Good evening. Pleasure to be here. Russ Major, Chief of Police, Delray Beach Police Department, Mayor, Commission. With regard to the recent shootings we had, there specifically the one you're referring to is at the Old School Square parking lot. Just if I may digress, there was a party that was broken down in West Palm Riviera area and somehow ended up in our city on top of the city garage, parking garage. With that being said, when we got the notice, we responded there and they were a little uncooperative. Unfortunately, one of the party goers did get shot in the ankle. The participants were very uncooperative, as I mentioned. Now, with regard to safety and public safety, we do extra patrols in that garage, but right now, in the timing of it, it's uncanny. We are in the process of increasing our technology with regard to cameras. The cameras were already underway when I took over. Technology is very important to me. You could do so much more with technology with regard to cameras. It's like a force multiplier. The camera's always there, but the police officer has to patrol the area. Once he turns or she turns the corner, inevitably he's patrolling a certain area of the city, the cameras remain. So I'm a big proponent of technology with regard to cameras. Our parking garage is on our project list with regard to putting technology in and around the parking garage to include license plate readers, maybe even a tag, a gate, monitored video camera at the gate, cameras around the actual parking garage. Our goal is to provide a very robust security system for that parking garage. With regard to the actual funding that we just received, it's going to be a huge infusion into getting to that much quicker than we actually anticipated.
Meanwhile, direction is imminent, ladies and gentlemen, to step up patrols in terms of physical presence until such time we have the ability to implement the aforementioned technology features to create a safe environment.
That happened immediately. Once I read that incident occurred, I actually sent a text message and email to the corresponding officers in Clean and Safe to make sure they're doing additional patrols. I also spoke to Laura Simon with regard to the, I hate to say the yellow shirt, the ambassadors, I apologize, the ambassador security that we work collaboratively with, because they become additional eyes and ears on the avenue, so, and in the parking lots as well.
Excellent. Thank you so much for the update, Chief.
Congratulations on the real-time unit and for the funding you received. You look great on TV. Really.
Thank you.
Really exciting.
Thank you so
Doing
much. I
great work.
appreciate it. Thank you all. Appreciate the support.
Thank you. One more quick fun thing. It's not
Fun things
heavy.
are good.
Yeah, I know I dropped some like heavy stuff here. So I think it was in the Post just named our very own Death by Pizza as like best pizza in the county. So I wonder if we could do like a recognition or a proclamation or something
go
like that
there
for
now.
those guys. We just go. Yeah.
That works for me. So. No, congratulations to Death by Pizza. You know, it is a great pizza. I enjoy the sourdough bread very much. That's just my own personal view. And it's not an endorsement. It's just my personal opinion. So, Commissioner Marker.
I have no further comments.
Commissioner Casal.
Sure. Okay, I think I'm going to just jump in. You know, we worked hard to get elected, and in the process, we discussed a lot of things with residents that they want. I was with these gentlemen a lot, and excited to be here and to look forward to completing some of these tasks that we were elected to do. So one of the things that I would like to figure out how we can hear, Mr. Carney, Mayor Carney, you had some great ideas about how we could get this Atlantic overlay, or call it whatever you were calling it,
Yep.
implemented. I know, Anthea, when you spoke at the goal setting in 2022, that was ready for workshop. It's been workshopped and workshopped back and forth, and I'd just like to get it to a place where we can either figure out, are we doing it and moving forward, or what's happening? I know, we want to look at Frog Alley too, and there's whole other areas of the city. So we have to start somewhere and start moving, and I would love it if we could get going on that. We also talked during the campaign about closing 7th, and Missy, maybe that's something that you can talk to us about in light of the traffic concerns the residents have there, speeding and different things like that. The golf course,
You're taking all my items.
I'm
and this
sorry.
isn't good.
Oh, I apologize, Mayor.
No, go
I
continue.
apologize, but we were together talking about all this, so I'm not taking credit in any way. I'll give it all to you. Could we, Lynn, you and I talked about this when the Parks Bond was under consideration and it was on the ballot, and at that time you thought it would be problematic. Is there any way we can use some of that money? And I know there's some of it, no, none, for the golf course at all. Okay, thank you. I'll have to look for another alternative plan. But I would like it if we could think about how we can address the golf course for the residents. I asked the staff, just for my fellow, for mayor and commissioners, to give us a list of all the things that they are working on for the commission, that they've been working on, so we can look at it and maybe see if we're still interested in these items. I mean, I've still got stuff carried over from when I served before, the LDR amendment for the diverse housing. But I'd like to know what's going on so we can figure out how to prioritize and how to get things moving. And the last thing, and I know this is kind of an unusual request possibly, but I'm going to throw it out there and hope that I can get some support. We all know we have a pretty high unfunded pension liability. And one of the things that concerns me is that we need to be able to accommodate the people that work for us in the future. And how are we going to actually do that if we don't get that under control? And I was talking to someone pretty knowledgeable who said you could set up a task force where your city manager comes back with ideas, your actuary comes back with ideas, your pension plan trustees come back with ideas, the union reps come back with ideas, HR comes back with ideas, and even the new outside negotiator, and I commend you for doing that. I asked for that for years, and I'm thrilled. But people to come back to us and express what changes could be made to reduce our unfunded pension liability. And it could be in terms of, like, we could simplify the question to say, how can we get to a place where the funded liability is 90% and the contribution to salary is 50? You can throw out numbers And maybe that's how you can narrow down the question. But I would like if my commissioners are amenable to trying to start to look for some solutions to that for the future, for our employees. And then lastly, Sam Mitat, I know you gave us these, right? Thank you so much. I know every single year you bring attention to autism, and I really appreciate you. Thank you. Autism Awareness Acceptance Month. Thank you, Sam Mitat.
Commissioner Burns.
Yes, thank you. I have a couple of things. I would like to request a workshop and kind of on some of the lines that Commissioner Cassell talked about to discuss the utilization of the general obligation bond proceeds, specifically the GO bond that relates to the city parks. I know that previous commission talked about how these funds were going to be used, and then there's the part that wasn't specific, as Mr. Moore has indicated, that staff is preparing paperwork on the bonds for the 2 improvements. But I just want us to be on the same page as to what's happening with the remaining funds so that it doesn't just go to a golf course or that we have a workshop so that we can discuss and be on an agreement as to how those funds will be spent. Mr. Moore is raising his hand.
Well, I mean, this is on my list too, so I'm just saying, I'm very happy that we all kind of have the same thoughts here.
That's why I'm jumping up.
Because you and I have spoken about this. I've already met with him on this.
Okay.
And I do want to know where the bond, because, well, there's ideas on how we're going to spend it. Nothing has been, we haven't inked anything because we have to actually approve all that.
Right.
So I would like also a workshop to go through the use of proceeds of the bond issue as it related to Parks and Recs with you and Mr. Mitat, of course.
Yes, sir. And if I may, ladies and gentlemen, please, I'm thinking about Commissioner Burns, Vice Mayor Cassell, and our previous visit. So I'd like to hit it off for a second, if I might. You talked about 7th Avenue, for example. So that's a follow-up I've had with staff, the Director of Public Works in particular, and that, of course, touches Atlantic Crossing. The Atlantic Crossing project, and at some point we'll be in position to address that particular piece. So within the coming weeks, I anticipate offering an update as to how we can accomplish that. So that's on the forefront, if you will, in terms of an update as to how we get there in relationship to the work being completed at Atlantic Crossing number 1. So I'm happy to offer that update and more information to be forthcoming. As far as the golf course piece, a couple of you all talked about that. This will be a hallmark feature of the May 3rd goal-setting engagement so that the commission will then have an opportunity to offer follow-up direction in that regard. So this week's information letter report, I'll talk a little bit about the National Golf Foundation and the relationship the city of Delray Beach has recently forged with that organization to help us begin the process of a formal selection process above and beyond what's been accomplished thus far. We'll make that a hallmark feature as part of the goal-setting session on May 3rd as well. In addition to that, the piece regarding the general obligation piece, there are some very specific projects that were outlined in the voting process that took place in March 2023. There are some ancillary opportunities to the point that you all just talked about. That will also be a feature of May 3rd as well. Not that May 3rd goal-setting session will be the end-all process to get to that place, but it will be a springboard to help you all accomplish what you all just outlined here today. So that's only about 3 weeks out, ladies and gentlemen. So we'll begin in that particular fashion. We have it cultivated in that regard with the outside facilitator to help us, as noted. From there, we'll begin the process to accomplish exactly what you all just summarized in general. So I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, I've got some comments too, so you stay warmed up.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Are you finished?
Okay. No. So I have another request. As most of you know, the city is the recipient of some settlement funds resulting from participating in a multi-state opioid litigation. And I am a member of I'm a board member of the Palm Beach County Advisory Committee on Behavioral Health and Substance Use and Co-occurring Disorders. And they
do that in one breath.
I know. They recently drafted a 2024 plan, and I made available copies for all of you. to give municipalities some direction on how to use those funds. They're very limited. However, the plan consists of recommendations for cities to use and how to implement using those funds. So I would like to also request a workshop on how we here in Delray can start utilizing those funds. I think we've received several payments, $250,000 in excess, and we are expecting more funds, and I would like to see that money be used to for what is the purpose for prevention, whatever we decide that we want to do within the state guidelines.
We can add that to a workshop agenda, yes?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Happy to do it. We'll be prepared. We've been analyzing the potential revenue for that, to your point.
You're going to take something else from my list?
No. Not at all. I just wanted to go back to my item, which is the unfunded pension liability. Is that something that we would be amenable to asking the staff to look into, as I recommended?
I mean, I think the whole pension question is going to be a subject of a lot of inquiry. So certainly by me, and I've had conversations both with the city attorney and the city manager on this. It's an item that I know needs to be thoroughly explored.
And if I may, ladies and gentlemen, just to contribute, the robust budget workshop practice in which we'll be engaged in that regard, we'll be able to touch some of that, because that's data analytics that you all need to take under consideration to get to the point you just offered. So for that reason, I think we'll be prepared in terms of the workshop meeting discussion process to help offer direction to that effect. You all will likewise have the ability to offer your expectations, goals, and objectives, and we'll be in position and hopefully empowered to offer recommendations to get us there. So we'll make it part of that process. Budget workshop it is, an SF Hallmark feature as noted. Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I just got a couple more.
Go ahead.
Okay, I wanted to say that I had a visit with students and teachers from the Cocoa Plum Nature School on last Friday, and it was such a pleasure to meet with those young students. And so I just want to say thank you for coming to visit with me, and I look forward to visiting again. Also want to say I had an amazing time at the Miracle Mile baseball game on this past Saturday, and to congratulations to our police department for the funding that you received. Thank you. I'm done.
Thank you. On that last note, I also attended the Miracle League. Thankfully, Commissioner Long was also there to throw out the first pitch, because I wouldn't have been able to do it. So he did a great job, and it was thank you, because it's a great program. The Miracle League is a great program. All right, as for 7th Avenue, my only comment on 7th Avenue, it's been closed for a few years now. It's clearly shown that it has the ability to be closed. I know that you can work with both police and fire to figure out a way to have breakaway fences and breakaway this in order to ensure that it stays closed, except in the case of an emergency. So I really would like to put that on the front burner, because they've been kind of asking for a long time. And as much as I appreciated the work we're going to do at the corner of Atlantic and Swinton, the north part of Swinton has been talked about for a lot of years, and I'd like to see if we can get that on the front burner, because up there they've been dealing with this road issue up there. I'll just take notes. I got a few things. The golf course, I appreciate you've answered that question. I'm going to ask you also to get us an update on the water plant in terms of, I understand that we're bringing in the people, the process of designing it, et cetera, the $150 million range, which is what it's going to cost to develop all the plans. But I would kind of like to have an idea of what you think the timing is truly going to be in terms of getting that designed, and what realistically their timing is for trying to raise the money through a revenue bond, and the process that you're going to use to get to a revenue bond, and when you really think it's going to be up and running.
Yes, sir.
So that could be the next meeting, or you can do it right now if you're ready.
I would love to at this time, if I may. On the two subjects related to, first of all, 7th Avenue, I'll have an update to that effect probably in the next week, 2 weeks, a written update in terms of what the trajectory will look like once we follow up and connect with Atlantic Crossing, because of course we have to get that squared away. But you are correct, in my consultation with the Department of Public Works and Public Safety leadership, there are some capabilities to get to that place. So I look forward to offering leadership and guidance to help us move forward in that regard. As far as North Swinton, that is on the forefront. So again, working closely with the Department of Public Works, we look forward to offering some synergy and getting to that place so that we can have a better experience in that regard. And I think that's fairly long overdue.
Well, our definition of forefront may be different, so I'm a sooner rather than later kind of a person on that.
And I think we're in alignment, sir, and I think staff will be in alignment as well as a result of our commitments tonight.
Okay.
And lastly, as far as the water treatment plant, so some of you may recall during the March 5th, 2024 City Commission meeting, the first series of transactions was authorized in terms of the design-build relationship between the City of Delray Beach and Camp Dressa-McKee,
right,
to get that all accomplished and squared away. So some people are under the impression or misimpression or misnomer, if you will, that all the revenue bond processes had been taken care of all at once to offer a $130 million line item commitment. That is in fact not the case. A revenue bond transaction process such as this will take several transactions, of which you all as a commission will be in position to authorize that as we reach different hallmarks or benchmarks of project implementation. So the next step will be the presentation of results as a result of the March 5th authorization relative to the initial design build program. And from there, we'll be in position to outline a course of direction. Preliminary estimates suggest that this will be about a 3 to 4 year endeavor to get us to where we need to be. So it's currently 2024. So based on my discussions with Mr. Hajimeri and outside consultants, we're looking at probably 2028 or so. Groundbreaking activities can actually take place late 2026, sometime 2027 is the most recent estimates we've been provided to that effect. So we'll all be here before you know it, but you all should have the opportunity to offer those transaction recommendations for consideration, and we'll get to work in that regard.
Great. With respect to the recreation bond,
Sir.
Use of proceeds.
Sir.
Before we get too far down the road with people making plans on doing this, that, and the other thing, I would like to have the commission sit down or have it through a workshop or whatever to really
Yes, sir.
discuss those use of proceeds, because a lot of the public has not been involved in deciding where these funds should go.
Yes, sir.
And I do believe that there should be public input as to where the users of the park should have some input into what they would like to see in their own parks. And I know there's some grand plans, but they may not. I think there's some other things that we need to be accomplishing first, like Merritt Field for one, getting that up to speed so that Delray Rocks can truly practice there and have a great field, and as well as the other teams. So I'd like, again, before things get too far down the road where we're
Of
starting
course.
inking deals, I'd like to have the commission involved in a workshop with looking at where the proposed proceeds are so that we can also have some input, because we're going to be hearing from people as to what they would like to have. So that I'd like to be able to do that.
Yes, sir.
And lastly, I would like to have a sit down as part of what we're going to be doing is to truly understand what the infrastructure spent. I mean, we've got this whole plan here for the infrastructure, the capital improvements, and I would like to have a discussion about with the board. I know you all had one back a year ago.
Yes, sir.
And it's now coming up, and we've got 3 new board members to have us have a better understanding of what you're really looking at in your capital improvement funds, because I think we should all have some input before the money's actually spent as to how you think some of these things should play out in the budget. And I understand it's part of the budget process, but I think sooner rather than later, because that will be a big component of the budget process.
Yes, sir.
So I just invite us to maybe have that discussion too at some workshop. And I know I'm laying a lot on workshop and I'm laying a lot on staff, but there's a lot to be done in this year, and we're going to try to get it all done.
Yes, sir. And again, I go back to the springboard opportunity of the May 3rd goal-setting session. I look at that as the springboard opportunity for us to get down to business right away. The budget process does touch a lot of this, thus the additional opportunity in June. It's already April, so we'll incorporate some additional meetings per direction and consensus to that effect, and it seems to be that is in position.
Perfect.
So I look forward to it.
Great. Any other comments from any members?